Hi, my name's Charlie Cormany, and I'm the Executive Director of Efficiency First California. There's a lot of conversations these days about heat pump water heaters. And if you're in this space, particularly residential, there's a ton of rebates. Everybody's got rebates. They're pushing this technology pretty heavily. Rebates are designed to motivate people to transition to a new solution. So why is a heat pump water heater the solution everybody's pointing to these days? Give a little bit of background on it. Largest loads in a home, residential loads anyway, are space heating and water heating. So if we want to go from an efficiency standpoint and make an impact on a home, we got to address those two loads. Heat pump water heaters are a really great solution because we're replacing old gas appliances that have, they're not the most efficient. They're typically about 80% efficient. There's other concerns. There's health and safety concerns. They can provide noxious fumes in the house. But the real reason I think that we're pushing towards this technology is efficiency, and that's where we come in. Without a doubt, the most efficient way to make hot water in a home is with a heat pump water heater. Some say they're about 60% more efficient than electric resistance, which is 100% efficient. So this technology's come around to really provide a solution to replace your gas water heater. They're more efficient, but I will say there are some limitations and things you should be aware of. One, they are electric. In most situations, you probably are going to have a gas appliance you're replacing. You may not have the electricity in place to service or provide the electricity for that. So you might be a little bit more complicated install because you're likely going to be running a new electrical circuit to supply that heat pump water heater. There are new models out now that have just entered the market that are 120 volts, so it answers some of that problem. But you might want to make a note, you may be required to do electricity and plumbing with the same install. So that's something to be considered. Another thing is noise. They do make a little bit of noise. They sound like a small refrigerator, so you might be more aware of where you locate them. I would not want one in my bedroom or right next to a bedroom. So there are some drawbacks. And probably the third thing I would mention is that you got to set them in the right modes for most of these as well. Generally, out of the box, they come in a hybrid mode, which means they will rely on the heat pump and then the resistance backup strips in conjunction with each other. We really choose or encourage people to install them in heat pump only mode. So you're not bringing any resistance electric heat. That's by far the most efficient way to install them. So I think you ought to embrace the technology, look into it, figure it out. One other tip I'd put in there, if I'm putting in heat pump water heaters, there's really no penalty for putting in a unit that's bigger. So if I was putting in a replacement for 40 gallon, I would go to 50, maybe even 65. If I got a house of 3 or more people, I would probably put in an 80 gallon. So upsizing the tank, there's really not a lot of penalty from a performance standpoint. If you can fit it in, go the next step up, you'll have much better results. So there are some little idiosyncrasies with this technology. We embrace it. We think it's a good solution. We think you should check it out and embrace it too.